it's like they already went over to my second expansion. As you can see, he didn't even say GG. Like, he's one of those arrogant dudes who just cannot accept losing or so. And I just can't, like, this is one type of player I just can't resist, like, screwing around with, since since they're so laughable. They think they're so good, and then they're actually not. They're just doing all these all-in builds and then complain after they lose or so. Well, whatever. Um, we decided to play another game, so here it is. Just came over to with the same recording. I hope you guys don't mind that. So it's a double PvZ, and this game is slightly better than the previous one. Um, and the same thing when I talked about my building placement before for gateways and whatever tech and so on. That is one thing, and but also you should learn how buildings function and how buildings block and so on. Like, you should find a system to do it on your own. For example, over here I had no idea. I didn't remember how to make a perfect block. In both of these games, in fact, I didn't even know how I should block. But since I know a decent system to do it, I can make a decent block, at least, in every single game or and every single map, no matter what. And that's really something that is really useful, and that is something that will often save you so much trouble, and will make your gameplay much better, hopefully. Um, so I've said this many times, but I'm gonna remind it again. Always place your forge below your gateway, and that way links cannot pass through your between the forge and the gateway. Like, that's but if the forge is above the gateway, then the links can pass. And also learn how many matrices each building is. For example, gateway is 3 matrices high and 4 matrices, um, uh, there are 4 matrices in width, and that is something good to remember. And forge is like 2 times 3 and so on. And when you're thinking on how should I place my buildings, that is something that you can pay attention to. I also checked this. I wasn't completely sure of his drone count. Like, it didn't seem like he was mining my minerals over there, but his drone count seemed like at one point a bit weird to me, so I came over to check this out. And since I carelessly, which is something you wanna avoid at all costs, lost my probe, I decided to use that one probe on the back over there to sneak it around, now that I already had it over there, and scout with that, and hopefully his links are already gonna be here and not be prepared when my probe runs inside his base and sees his tech completely. And so, since I saw that he made 9 pull speed links, I believe, or was it overpull, whatever, I forget, I decided to add a bit early a third cannon as well, just in case. Also, I must say that my building placement isn't really perfect over here. It could be a lot better. For example, the forge could be, in fact, in this position, the perfect placement is like forge kinda above your gas, and the gateway is above the forge, and then they can pass between the cliff and the gateway, and that is pretty much the perfect building placement where all your units can pass without troubles and so on. But I didn't have that really over here, so I was forced to add a third cannon, even with more reason. Like, if I had a perfect building placement, I could have possibly managed with just 2 cannons, but over here I was kind of forced to add a third one. So now I'm scouting over here, and since I want to figure out, like, he's killing that, and I want to figure out even better what he's up to. Like, if he has a third hatchery over here, then it means that my Corsair will most likely be on time to scout him out, without having to press the panic button before my Corsair is even out. Like, one good thing that you should remember in pretty much every single case is that your Corsair, like, if he places 3 hatcheries before gathering gas for lair, or before starting his lair, then that means that your Corsair will be able to scout him out even like before, like without any troubles, and your cursor will be able to see his tech before you have to even react. For example, your cursor will be in his main about the time maybe when his fire pops, or before his fire pops, and that means that you can at that point you can start adding your cannons. You don't have to add your cannons before that at all. um so now I'm just pulling a few zealots. Like I saw him make quite a few zerglings, so I I maybe put zealots a bit higher priority, just so that I can avoid making as few cannons as possible. Like cannons are gonna be mostly useless after early game anyway. So you want to avoid making too many of them. Like 2 cannons is pretty much standard. 3 is not that bad if he has a cheesy build or something weird. But 4 cannons is usually just bad unless he's doing a Hydra push or like 3 hedge mastling or something. So you want to avoid that. So I'm just making a bit more heavy zealots maybe. I like to add my zealot legs as fast as possible. It kind of helps me out in many cases when it comes to defending against hydras, when it comes to managing in like when it comes to quickly adding pressure to him, forcing him to make drones suddenly instead of making just I mean forcing him to make links instead of just massing drones and so on. So at this point I'm kind of adding my gateways up, and I'm gonna start my a bit more heavy unit production at this point. Since I saw that his lair wasn't especially early, and since I saw that he made 3 hatcheries before starting a lair, I can pretty much just like kill his overlords without any worries over here, at least 1 or 2 of them, and then just scout him out and so. And notice over here, he doesn't have a second gas, and his larvas, he doesn't have very many eggs, so the chances of him going mutas are pretty much non-existent. If he's gonna go mutas, it's gonna be after he already has like 5 hatcheries or something, and since I see scourges not right now, and since I know that he has 5 hatcheries, that's all I need to know. I add a cannon at my main just so that it's gonna add extra protection for my corsairs. Kinda denies him his scourges scouting everything in my base, and secondly, it's gonna help me out when it comes to defending against his possible mutas if he's gonna go mutas. But based on his build order, the chances of him going muta is very low unless he's gonna go mutas after he has hydras and so on. I like to add like keep making corsairs for a variety of reasons. Like if I keep making corsairs, I only need 1 cannon even if he does mutas, and that's one thing I really like. Like unless he does something like all in muta, then 1 or 2 cannons at most is all that you're gonna need if you keep making corsairs. And not only that, your corsairs are gonna counter his mutas if he does kinda mutas after his hydras, aka Neosauron, like 1 Archon and 5 to 7 corsairs. That's all the anti-air you're gonna need against mutas, and the rest of your units gonna be high templars. You're not even gonna need dragoons like you usually need. So I personally like making corsairs kind of non-stop for that reason. Like for one, it's gonna be safer, and secondly, it kind of denies his scouting, adds extra pressure, and it's gonna counter his possible mutas. And even supposing that he doesn't go mutas, they're still gonna be very useful and very nice when I kind of attack, and my corsairs kind of just kill his overlords, making my Dark Templars extra effective. And since I already was keeping on with my corsair production, I decided to make a DT early on. I really don't have that many hopes of it doing much damage, but it's kind of something that's gonna scout for me. And secondly, the DT, it's kind of gamble. I really lose almost nothing on making 1 DT at this point, since I already made a few High Templars and so on before that DT, I believe. And it kind of give me so much if I get lucky and it gets inside. Now my DT was able to scout his base, and I saw that his lurkers already finished, and that means that I gotta move out. I gotta move out before he's over here, before he's containing me, and before he's blocking my second expansion attempt. I kind of predicted that he's gonna go lurkers anyway, but usually so I started my robotics already. Like if I move out like this, it's just make things so much easier. I cannot even express how much easier it makes things at this point. Like right now, I start my Dragoon production, my Dragoon range and so on. Like if I know that he's gonna go lurkers then so early on, then I might consider making Dragoon range and observers a bit earlier. But over here, I really couldn't predict it. Like he could have gone Hydras as well. Well, I don't know. It's really kind of impossible to completely predict whether he's going Hydras or lurkers.